Hi there, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm doing another eyeshadow bingo, and today I'm deciding to focus on one brand, and that is Juvia's Place. I have two palettes, they're both relatively new to me. I have the Taupes by Juvia's Place. This one has a mix of just regular taupey brownie shades, and then I have a much more colorful palette, which is the Magic Mini. I was recently able to get this on clearance on the Ulta website, and it's a palette I've wanted for a long time, and I have dipped into it to create one look so far. I used this pinky shade up here and then this reddish shade right here, and I really liked how it turned out, and I did want to play with this palette again today, but I wasn't really sure what look I wanted to go for, so I figured I would just let my Pretty Random app determine what shades I pull for today. I have 22 shades, and normally I type all the shades into a spreadsheet and assign a number to each one, but I don't have my laptop nearby and I would like to just get started. I have a very busy day ahead of me. And so how I'm gonna do it is I'll just have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'll do the same with the Magic Mini. 7, 8, 9, 10, and then just keep going that way. So this bottom one is gonna be number 22. To make sure I don't overwhelm myself, I typically go one shade at a time, just to make sure I'm not overdoing it. And I think I usually stop at 4 eyeshadows. 4 or 5 is usually the sweet spot. So let's get started with the very first one. I have the minimum as 1 and the maximum as 22. And the first shade is gonna be number 15. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, this is a gorgeous color. It's kind of like a duochrome. It has a purple base and then a blue shift. And I remember looking up how to say the shade, and in school, like in geography, we always learned the country Burkina Faso was how we were supposed to pronounce it, but when I tried to look it up to see how to pronounce it, a lot of people were saying it's Faso. If you have a better knowledge of how to pronounce the shade, or really any of these shades, I know this shade up here, I would pronounce it Oh Sun, but I think it's actually pronounced Oshun. I don't want to be mispronouncing these all the time. Anyway, this color is really pretty. It is one that I have been wanting to play with for a while, and I'm excited to be pulling it in. I'm excited it's my first shade. The next one is number 6, so that's from the Taupes palette, and that's going to be the bottom shade, which is this one right here, and this is kind of just, I don't know, like a very, very light bronze. They're both pretty on their own, but I feel like I'm going to want to showcase Faso more so than this bottom one, which doesn't have a name. None of the shades from these little mini palettes have names, I don't think. I'm hoping I get a matte at some point. Let's go to the next one. It's number 20, 18, 19, 20. Oh, okay, so this one is Yara, and this is a beautiful teal aqua green metallic. Okay, I'm getting a lot of really pretty colors, but I do hope to get a matte at some point. Let's pull one more. And that is number 15. So 15 was the first shade I pulled. It was Faso, so let's do one more. Number 17. So if Faso is 15, then 16, 17 is Vi, which is like a gray metallic. I'm gonna have to get creative having 4 different shimmers, but we'll make do. We'll figure something out. I'm gonna bring you in a little bit closer. I'm gonna put on like my eyeshadow primer and my brows, and then we'll get started with the eyeshadow portion. Okay, so I have some ABH eye primer on my lids. I didn't set them with anything yet, and I did put some ABH brow pomade in my brows. I'm gonna go in with this Kessie shade from the Magic Mini and just a fluffy brush from ColourPop. It's maybe a little bit deeper than my skin tone. I'm just gonna run this in the crease to set that a little bit and then figure out what matte I wanna put in the crease since I didn't get any mattes in my quartet. I think I'll just stay relatively neutral, and I'll use a mixture of these 2 matte shades in the corners from the Taupes palette. Just a little bit of each, and just going in with that same brush. For a lot of my eyeshadow bingo videos, I usually have my foundation done, but I figured I would be working with some really colorful shadows, and because I'm not very familiar with this formula, I wasn't sure if there would be a lot of fallout, so I decided to wait. I think what I'm gonna do is maybe create like a gradient, so I'll start with the purple and move it into the green, and then put the gray on the outer corner, and then this bronzy shade, I'm not sure what I'll do. Maybe I'll put it on the lower lash line or on the inner corner. I'm going to use this AVH dual-ended brush from one of the palettes. I grabbed a little bit of Faso, which is this top shade, and I'm going to focus that on the inner third of the eyelid. Ooh, that's really pretty. I don't know if you can see that. I did wet my brush though, just to let you know. And I'm going to work that up a little bit into the crease so that it goes over just my lid. I'm going to wipe off that brush a little bit and then go in with Yara, which is that third shade. It's got a little bit more of a green. And I'm just taking that same brush and I'm doing the same thing, wetting it, and then I'll apply that to the middle part of the lid and carry it a little bit into the crease as well. Just blending them together. Then I'm wiping off the brush again, going into Vi, which is that gray shade, wetting my brush, and I'm just going to put that on the outer thirds. This one I'm not putting in the crease though. I'm not sure if it's because I used the eyeshadows wet or what, but I'm not having any fallout. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face, and then I'll come back and finish the look. I still have to use that bronzy shade, and I do think I want to go in and maybe add a little bit to the shades to help them blend together and have more impact, but this is kind of like the base of the look. Okay, so I put the rest of my base on so we could finish the eye makeup. And let me really quickly go over what I have on my cheeks. I have the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow bronzer. I repressed it into this old Too Faced container. And then for blush, I used the Hourglass Incandescent Electra. This is in my Project Pan. And then for highlighter, I used, for the very last time, my Mary Luminizer. You're seeing it here for the first time. She's empty. This feels so great. I'm so excited to finish the highlighter. There really wasn't a lot in here at the beginning of the year, so I'm surprised that it took me almost an entire month to finish the little bit that was left in there, but it's a very pigmented highlighter. Even when you're trying to go really glowy, you just don't need that much product, so this took forever to finish. Okay, so I think for the rest of the eye look, I'm going to take that shade, that bronzy shade that I haven't used yet, and I'm just going to take a little bit of it on that same brush. I just wiped it off, and I'm going to just run that along the lower lash line and see how that looks. So I have it on this eye, not on this eye. It doesn't look too different. It's pretty close to my skin tone. Maybe I'll run just the tiniest bit of this in the crease to help blend the other colors. You can see that really helped blend out the other shades. Wow. Little hack there, little life hack I just learned. If you have some shimmers in the crease and you want to blend them, try blending them with a like skin tone metallic shade. I mean, that's if you're alright with having like shimmers in the crease, which I don't mind. So I went through and repeated what I did on this eye, just on the other eye, and I did put it a little bit on the inner corner, that same shade, but I think I want just something with a little bit more of a pop. So I'm going to go into Phantom, which is a single from Makeup Geek. It's like a whitish base with a purple flash. And I'm going to wet this like Urban Decay dual-sided brush and grab a little bit of that, wet it, and then put that on the inner corner. I think that'll add a little something special to the look. I'm not even that up close. I don't know why I forgot to bring the camera closer, but can you see that Phantom shade on the inner corner? That's pretty. I'm not sure if I want to go in and build up those shadows anymore. Maybe bring them up a little bit higher in the crease. So I'm going to go in just with a dry brush, wiping off that same ABH shade. I'll start with Faso and then go into Yara, that green in the middle. Do the same thing. And then go in with that gray. And then go in with the other side of that brush. And just blend things out a little bit. It's a lot of shimmer. It's a lot of metallic in the crease. Not everyone's cup of tea. I think just to ground the look a tiny bit, I'm going to grab a little bit of this bottom corner color here, this blue. Just with that same brush, just like tap it in there and run that in the lash line a little bit on the outer third. I'm going to grab this Essence liner. This is just a black, like creamy liner, and tight line, and then run a little bit of that along the top lash line, just on the outer 2/3. and then go and smudge it out a little bit. This eye look is so pretty. This is why I love eyeshadow bingos. I would have never thought to create something like this on my own. Okay. Put on some mascara, and I think I'm just going to use like a natural, like a nude type lip with this. So I'm gonna use the Pillow Talk lip liner, kind of fill in my entire lip, and then put one of my nude glosses over top of it. This is the Lip Bath, also from Charlotte Tilbury. I'm not saying you need either of these products to recreate a similar look, but they're just what I have nearby, and both of them are in project pans, so I might as well. I'm gonna take my beauty sponge and blank out just the outer line, because when I wipe off my lip balm or whatever I have on my lips, it can kind of make it more red, and so it gets a cleaner line if I go over it with my foundation. Okay, so this is the final look. I love it. I love how it's colorful, but it's not taking over my entire face. I have been really liking putting like satins and shimmers in the crease. I don't have hooded eyes necessarily, but I do have smaller eyes, and they are a little bit more deep set, so sometimes in order for you to see any color, I do need to put it above my crease, almost closer to my brow bone. I love that those colors together, how like the blue, purple, and the green and the gray kind of blend into each other. I think that's really pretty. And then having that like duochrome purpley shade in the inner corner, I think adds to the fun as well. So honestly, I've only played with this palette twice, and both of the looks I've created I've really loved. This will be a great addition to my eyeshadow collection because it does have a lot of color, and I would say I don't have the most colorful eyeshadow collection. I do have quite a few neutral palettes or, you know, cool neutral tones. So even if I just want something a little bit extra, especially when it comes to blues and greens, I don't own a lot of those. I think this is a really great addition to my collection, and I got it for half off, so I only got it for like $12.50. I'm not sure if this is being discontinued because it wasn't on the Ulta website for a while, or just wasn't available. Like I had it in my wish list, but then it wasn't available, and then it went on clearance, so I'm not really sure what's going on. So hopefully it's not discontinued. I do have a playlist of all of my eyeshadow bingos that I've done previously. I think this is like my seventh or eighth one. So I do have a playlist being built up right now. If you're curious to see more eyeshadow bingos, I'll link that in the cards. But in the meantime, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.